Good morning, good afternoon to all.
Morning.
Good morning all. My name is Erinda Shah. I'm the Managing Director of Mental Health First Aid India. Today, I'm not telling any story as per se like I usually start, but actually we have a lot of story to tell today, but not only me. Today, we have absolutely, I'm so grateful to have guests who have come voluntarily ahead and want to make the Mental Health First Aiders Day much more happy, much more rich, and much more experiential. So, what is it that we are going to talk today? 25 years back, there was an initiative in creating something that would really, though it was something thought locally, let's do some awareness that can help people locally. Actually, it went globally. It's 25 years old, and there's more than 30 countries who are implementing mental health first aid program across. And today is the very first time, actually it's 19, but we are organizing this meeting today. 19th of August, we have Mental Health First Aid International is celebrating Mental Health First Aiders Day. And this is the very first one. And definitely the years will come and more days we'll celebrate in this way. And of course, we wanted to join the fun. We wanted to join the achievement. Okay, so what is mental health first aid for the one that don't know or are listening this for the first time? Definition is easy to say is the help given to someone who is experiencing poor mental health, are the early signs and symptoms of it, or someone who's the already existing mental illness is worsening, isn't it? Or someone is experiencing crisis like suicidal ideation. So the first aider role has a start but has a limit as well, has an end. So the help is provided either until the problem is resolved or appropriate support is being accessed. So that's a first aid, and in a simple term is someone near to you, understanding that things are not the same. There are some changes. We don't feel or think the same. Some difficult time may be pressurizing us. And this person near to you, instead of just wondering what's going on, it will pass, okay, stresses of life, reaches out indeed. It reaches out and say like, hey, how are you? I think I see things are different. How things going on? Can we have a chat? Can we just stop, make a pause, and sort of deep dive in how we are thinking, how are the feelings? Is there something that can be done to make you feel better, and so on? So in a summary, is about care, is about empathy. Okay, so this is mental health first aid, and MHFA India has been able, I mean, we are working for 8 years in India, and we have been able to train across thousands of first aiders. And we have been able to provide that education to high quality and standard. And it's not about, and when I talk to corporates, it's not about, and I do tell them, it's not about just selling a training to you. That's not my or our end goal. That is easy, simple for us. We can close our eyes and deliver an absolutely high quality training. We know the impact at the end. It's about the change after the training. That's where the real work and change start. So that's where we are most interested, that's knowledge and the skills that first aiders receive in the training, really put them into practice, really bring a change. It's not about bringing sudden change to the country. It's about bringing a change first in themselves and then bringing a change to the person next to them. Either it is family member, it's a neighbor, it's a relative or a friend, or at workplace as well as in campuses where our students are. So this is in a brief mental health first aid and what we have been doing and where is our focus. So with me today, I really would like to thank you. Have absolutely great mental health first aiders who got to know that this is the Mental Health First Aiders Day. And we said, what best we can do other than just come together and tell how has been being a mental health first aider. So I have with me here Priya. Welcome. Priya, I'll not do an introduction. You'll do it yourself, okay? I have Priya with me, I have Siddhika with me, I have Anuja with me, and I'm expecting Arun to join, some technical difficulty. And of course, I miss Dharmesh. He had some problem traveling and late flights. So, but anyway, we definitely will have another time to converse. So thank you so much for being here with me, for coming forward. Let's start. Let's not spend more time. And I would like to welcome people who are with us online or people who are watching us in YouTube or in this session. So lovely to have you ladies here. Thank you so much. How are you?
Amazing, Erinda.
Awesome. Thank you,
How are
Anuja.
you?
Good.
Absolutely.
I'm so good. Absolutely great. It just gets so you get up in the morning and feel like, oh my God, another day, a lot of things to do. Once you sit in the chair and you start meeting people and you start uh, sharing and learning, absolutely the day just goes on great. Thank you so much. So great. We'll start with first introducing yourself so that everybody get to know who are you. Do the introduction the way you wish. Okay. And then I feel that we can start in understanding the purpose that led you to becoming a mental health first aid. What was that motive? Okay, well, let's start from there. So thank you. Yes, Priya, you can start. I'm just seeing on the screen the pictures.
No worries. Thank you so much, Erinda, and thank you, MHFA India, for having me here. It's been an amazing journey. To everyone, hello everyone, I'm Priya Waingankar. I am one of the co-founders of Tangle, which is a brand marketing agency, and I also lead the head of employee experience. And I was certified with MHFA last year. The reason for me to join MHFA was, having a very personal experience with mental health, and I wanted not my team members face the same issue which I face and be there for them. That is
Mhm.
when I chose MHFA. It's been an amazing journey, and I've been evolving, lot of learnings, lot of challenges.
Okay, that's great. So yes, thank you, Priya. So Siddhika.
Hi everyone. My name is Siddhika. I started my journey with MHFA back in 2022. To be honest, I wasn't even aware about this institution and the benefits that it provides. Kind of learning it gives. It all came with my employer. To be honest, so I work in an Australia-based company called
I
Brennan,
see. Mhm.
and they already had a set of mental health officers and. Back in the day, somehow my team members, my counterparts from Australia, they felt that I have certain qualities which would probably be bring brought out better as a PNC business partner that I'm working as, and I think they motivated me to take up this course and understand a little more, theoretically. So for me, it was quite a challenge and quite
Mhm.
something that I would be interested in. So I took it up, and I think since that day till date, I'm still learning every day with everyone around, whoever I speak to, and with
Mhm.
every approach that I take in this conversation. I think it is ever evolving. It's not going to stop anywhere, is for sure, because I never see an end to the kind of conversations we have to lead.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, I would say I'm thankful to the company that I'm working with to help me introduce to MHFA.
Yeah, that's great to hear. It's amazing
Thank
how
you.
companies are embracing and are trying to find that what's best for my people.
Yeah,
Mm? That's
definitely.
important. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Siddhika.
you.
So Anuja,
Thanks, Erinda. So, by profession, I'm an HR leader with expertise in global mobility employee benefits. I am skilled in designing and enhancing the rewards program for organizations that I've worked and where I'm
Mhm.
working currently. I've got proven ability to manage complex expatriate taxation assignments as well.
Mhm.
But whereas I talk about my MHFA journey, it began with a simple realization that mental health conversations were happening around me. but they were always not with the right support. And I wanted to be someone who could listen, understand, and guide others to help. And I think that led me to take the MHFA training, and it's been a transformative experience ever since then. Alongside, I'm also a Red Cross certified first aider, on-road first aider.
That's
So
rare.
that's a little about me.
Awesome.
Uh,
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think that's a little about me.
Yeah, that's great. So one of the things that in any training, especially in face-to-face, I do tell people is to draw parallel with physical first aid. But there are so few, very few, almost non-existent of people who have physical first aid training. And what it tells us in general is that that culture of preparedness, preventive, we need to feed that part and should be physical, should be emotional, mental, and so on. Thank you, Anuja, for bringing. Arun, welcome. With a lot of effort, we have you in.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Erinda,
Good
for
morning.
joining me. Yeah. So my name is Arun Senthil Raj. I'm a safety and mental health consultant since working since 20 years in industrial and corporate companies. The purpose of joining MHFA is already being a safety consultant. I used to interact a lot of people, talk with them.
Mhm,
So a couple of years, 4 years before, I found that a lot of people are suffering from mental health. So
mhm,
along with my safety is almost well-being of employees and other people. So I thought of
mhm,
doing mental health first aider courses to enhance to add as an additional profile. So I
mhm,
did a MHFA first aider course, and also it helps a lot when interacting with people, and also in a company. It helps to observe what are the people experiencing whether they are in a stress, because most of the people don't share easily, and they won't
mhm,
come out with the problems. So
mhm,
this course, it helps me, and since when I did this course, it has been helpful for my development also,
mhm.
because for me the listening skill is very much less. So it helps me a lot of so especially when I deal with my family members, I won't listen properly as per their feedbacks. So it helps a
Mhm,
lot in my personal development, and also as a professional, I am open to the people. And
mhm,
one of the good quality that I am having, without any judgmental, I used to listen the people's problem. And
mhm,
also recently I had a international trip with strangers. So one of the lady come out with and open immediately in a 1 hour, couple of hours. She come and open and her problems.
mhm.
So that's my one of my luckiest quality, that I won't judge people. So in that way,
Awesome.
this mental health first aid courses, and I'm being a practitioner. It is helpful for my development also. People, those who are along with me.
Awesome. Thank you, Arun Raj. So, the theme this year is make the conversation matter. Okay. One small conversation can change life. Okay. So, what is that? I mean, that is for all of you. What is that? Any of your cases, or I mean, going back to people that you have had, one conversation that has really, you remember and really brought a change in that person. So, Siddhika, I'll just uh, would invite you first. One conversation that really made a difference.
Um, Sorry, am I audible?
Yes, very
Yeah.
much.
So I think, as I said earlier, there's never one conversation. It has been a learning in every conversation. But for me personally, I think my story, the one story that I would want to put forward, is to all the mental health first aid officers on this
Siddhika,
call.
Siddhika,
Sorry.
one apology. It was my so just wanted to invite definitely to tell your story. I just
Yeah,
missed that part. Yes, definitely when we are telling stories, definitely we will save keep the anonymity. Definitely, this is for
sure.
all of us, including myself. And I wanted as well to inform the audiences. I'm not too sure on the depth of the story that you are going into, but if anyone that is watching and some story may resonate or be emotional, be mindful of the emotion that stories that we are sharing here may spark in you. Try
Sure.
to involve your coping mechanism, try to check on yourself, and as well seek for help if something really you need support. Of course, calling MHFA India is the easiest and the fastest thing.
Yeah.
Definitely we can provide support. But Siddhika, yes, just wanted to make this
Yes.
point before you start, because definitely real stories can really provoke emotions and spark them.
Yes,
So thank you.
definitely. And I think I want to talk on the same lines as you just mentioned, that we as mental health first aid officers, we are always ready to be that, show that compassion, be there for them to let the other person, just share their thoughts and feelings, and we can help them as much as we can in every other way possible, guiding them. But there are times when we as mental health first aid officer forget that we also need someone. And I think my
Mm,
story is around this, because there was a very tough time in my professional life where somebody who I have been working very closely, who was at a very senior management, um, suddenly, passed away due to a cardiac arrest. And in that whole scenario, being that mental health first aid officer in the company, and managing so many emotions around the people that I work with, I
mhm,
somewhere forgot about myself, because
mm,
I was kind of in that zone of having and giving, and could do anything that I can with what I have learned. I could help, but somewhere
mm,
I missed myself in it.
mm.
And around the same lines, I was also getting married in like next 2 months after that incident. So there was so much on my plate, and I was completely blindsided by everything.
Mm, mm,
And I think the conversation that I had was with my colleague,
mhm.
where she started questioning me. She's not a mental health first aid officer, but she started asking me the same way as I was asking her, that how are
Okay.
you doing? What's happening
Mm,
with you? You are getting married as well. How are you managing this? And then I
mm,
suddenly realized, did I check on myself? And
mm,
the answer was no. I was completely out of health, out of mental health, like for 2 months in a row. And I was getting married in 1 month after that. So I had to do a quick check on myself. I had to pause. I had to tell
mhm,
my firm that I need some time, because there is so many things happening in my personal and professional life.
mhm, mhm,
I then realized that I need help first. Only then I can
mhm.
help anybody else.
Awesome.
So there is a biggest learning of my life where that conversation triggered a question on myself,
Mhm,
where irrespective of how much I have understood, how much I could help, if I am not
mhm,
in the best of my abilities, I
mhm,
don't think I would be able to help anybody else around me. So that has
mhm,
been the biggest learning, and that has been the biggest episode of my life, where I always have ensured to keep a check on myself first as well. Being the most empathetic person you might be, but you would always tend to forget yourself.
That's true. That's very true. And you all will remember that whoever is a first aider that we do train, we have that part of self-care and they keep reminding all the way to the throughout the
Yes.
training that your safety is first while you
Yeah.
are supporting there. Let's not think that we have a cape of the heroes. Definitely, everybody who
Definitely.
is reaching out to support is a hero, but we are not there to resolve everyone's problem. It's
Sure.
not possible. We are there to provide that support while being very conscious about the impact on us, the emotion that it provokes. But that's amazing. So when you create a space, an environment around you that you are caring for others, it returns back to you, isn't it, Siddhika? That simple
Yes.
question from your colleague, how are you in this? Okay, how are you
Yes.
doing in all this story? Sort of mirrored back to you the need for self-care. That's amazing. And
Yes.
yeah, so how life goes. Some sad stories, some good stories.
Yeah.
It goes along, and we all then need to be sort of ready to cope up and deal and enjoy all of them. So that's amazing to hear. So thank you, Siddhika, for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
A very important part of self-care as
Yes.
mental health first aider. So I will, I mean, uh, I would ask Priya or Anuja or Arun, whoever has much closer response to it, as what has been a response or a feedback from any scenario that you felt like, okay, I did it. Wow. Okay. To any of you, whoever would like to bring a story that that feedback told you that it was helpful. It made a change.
I can go, Erinda, here. So, whenever, and it's not just one scenario that I would share, these are like multiple cases that you come across, from a business perspective. And as well, generally, many a times you meet so many people, if it's a common washroom and you observe certain things. I think what is it that catches the attention is, that one unusual instinct that you get, that something probably is not okay. It's your gut telling something, apart from, when you're looking at an expression or anything. And normally people usually keep upbeat, people are evolving and adapting to different situations. But, there was this couple of team members who I was taking care of, and they were like equally upbeat. But I was observing certain withdrawn symptoms and certain overwhelming around them. And just because I knew them and they also had an equal trust with me, and I think I just felt confident to actually make a check-in. And with a simple question of that, you've been on my mind, and in case you're holding up, it just sparked conversations. And when these conversations spills, they open several doors to bring up an exchange on the table, and the struggles that individual goes through, because that's a long road actually, in its own self, yet forgetting that there's another solution oriented which may be yet ahead. But I was, I think, able to listen, validate, and guide towards the support system that is available. And I think in the entire situation, the confidence then comes from knowing that I probably didn't need all the answers, but yet just the courage to actually care for somebody. I think that's a safe space I had for my own self, and that I was able to extend it to probably these people who were really in need.
Okay.
And just probably candid catch-ups, after that, just to know how are you feeling. And
Okay.
I think that really helped. That really
Okay.
helped.
That's great. So thank you for sharing. So you said that was it enough just one time you met, or was it needed more session than meeting just once? Was it a casual one, or was it a planned? How did the first day this conversation go, or were sort of organized in this scenario?
I think to navigate into that space as a first time, it had to be casual, because that barrier had to be broken to actually for me to allow entry into that safe space for these people who I'm referring to, and yet formalizing them, because obviously if I have to drive them to a solution, you have to stand by them, guide them through. Probably one option may not work out, like example, we have wellness clinics in our office, which is on-site health clinics, and we have a psychologist sitting here, but also we have got EAP providers. Then our insurance setup also builds in certain configurations. So, we have to take through steps and be there and advise them at each stage probably. And, to be very honest, after offering support, follow-ups with are simple, but yes, consistent check-ins also help, but just enough to show that we care, without creating any overwhelming situation, because they're anyways going through so much.
Yes.
And I think sometimes quiet presence speaks louder than words.
Yes. Yes,
Just
indeed. So when did
standing by
you,
them.
yeah, when did you realize that it really worked, or how did the other person express that sort of, it's not a thank you, but it's like it worked, it helped. How did you get that? It's not necessarily maybe verbal, but how do you realize that this process of providing mental health first aid and guiding reach to some conclusion, to some achievement, or to some points where that told you that yeah, the change happened, or the problem was resolved, or the person felt supported, whatever that was.
I think it's a beautiful question, Erinda. And cutting the long story short, when we make the first conversation with people, for
Mm-hmm.
them to actually realize and come to a
Mm-hmm.
point that there is something which needs attention is
Mm.
probably the first step.
Yeah,
Because
and the
it's
most
so
difficult.
usual. It's so yeah, exactly. And it's so usual because we have learned to juggle in this rat race that we are into, and nobody's fault. Times have changed. We have nuclear families, working mothers,
Yeah.
switching roles, for first to actually get to a conversation and realize, oh, I didn't realize that there was a need probably, and I could
Mm-hmm.
have dealt with it better, is actually
Mm-hmm.
the first step.
Yeah.
Once we've crossed this first step, is then comes, okay, let's identify where is it going wrong.
Mm.
Then we create that solutioning for them actually.
Mm.
Uh, yeah.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I would maybe call Priyanka or Arun, whoever comes closer to with the stories that you feel, yes, it's resonating. Really, I wanted to hear any story that can bring a bit of um, that challenge. And when I do training, I do tell to everybody, to all first aiders, this is not going to be a easy, smooth conversation at all the time. Rarely, you may find people saying immediately, "Oh, thank you for it. Yes, I'm ready." Okay, definitely you'll have a level of resistance, a level of "I'm fine, I'm okay." Just any case that has been challenging,
And
and
then I
how
would
you
like
dealt with
to,
that.
yeah,
Yes, Priya. Yes.
I would like to take this. I think one challenge which I face is that I'm the founder and as well as an MHFAider. And
Mm,
I'll tell you a story about one of my team member who was not being able to perform as much as she used to before. She
mm-hmm,
was having a lot of burnout issues. Um, Acknowledging it was very important for her, which she was not acknowledging. And then I think the main cause, is to accept that there is something called as mental health. A lot
mm-hmm,
of people don't accept it that, okay, I need help. I
mm-hmm,
need to
mm-hmm,
reach out to someone. And
mm-hmm.
I took her out for a lunch. And because
I see.
according to me, having it in a setup within the workplace would be a bit uncomfortable for her. I took her
Mm-hmm,
out for like a coffee or a lunch, and I told her, Ki, how are you doing? Let's not talk about work. And
mm-hmm.
she is a working mother,
I see.
and she had a lot of issues personally and professionally. She felt that she's not being able to do as much she's expected to, and
Mm-hmm,
it was too much continuous pressure on her from both the
mm-hmm,
ends.
mm-hmm.
And I told her ki, okay, I think you need a break. Maybe just take a mental health day, take a day
Mm-hmm.
off, and see how it feels.
Okay,
And that is when I introduced mental health days at my workplace.
I
uh,
see.
and like we give four mental health leaves per year.
Yes.
And the she took a leave, and I told her, don't be available on calls to anyone, just
Mm-hmm.
take yourself time out. And the change I saw her in her when she came back, that she came to me and she told me, Priya, I didn't knew this was needed, and
Mm.
thank you for just talking to me. I didn't realize this was needed that time,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm feeling better, and I know when to take a break, I know when to
Mm-hmm.
pause. That
Mm-hmm.
story made me realize that one small conversation with anyone just opens
Mm-hmm.
up a lot of other conversations and make you realize, okay, this was needed. And
Mm-hmm.
that change led to what I took a decision to make a change in my company. And
Mm-hmm.
when that difference in her got other also team members understand ki, okay, one conversation can make me feel better. We come
Mm-hmm.
from a creative agency where there are a lot of deadlines, lot of pressure from clients, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to be calm, to take breaks. And
Mm-hmm.
that is when my other team members also realized, and then they came to talk to me. कि, okay, Priya,
Mm-hmm.
we are dealing with this, how to deal with this, and just a normal conversation. It helped a lot. Change in their behavior, change in their productivity, a lot of things change.
You are around 2 years that you have taken MHFA, if I'm not
Yes,
wrong.
yes,
Okay, great. So in 2 years, there have been changes coming,
yes,
not only individually, but as well in the
yes.
context, in the setting where you are. And we will come back to that, definitely. I'll be glad to hear from all of you how MHFA is, how MHFA is not change. Definitely, there are multiple things that are going on at corporates. Like you said, all of you are saying that EAP is there, counselors are there, everybody is contributing. But definitely, MHFA is playing its own beat and role into that. So it's important as well to understand how MHFA is sort of modifying or tuning or bringing new things, like Priya said right now. It's amazing with new rules and new proposals to accommodate more easiness at work. Arun, I would be open to hear any story that you feel it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
made a difference and brought the MHFAider to someone helping or someone in need.
Yes, yes. I just want to quote one experience which I had
Yes.
with one of a person. So initially, I was struggling with the thing where whenever I used to talk with any persons or I ask for their problems, I used to get judgmental whenever whoever close to me, whether it is
I
my
see.
friend or any family members. So
Mhm.
I become a judgmental. Oh, this person is like that only. So after doing this MHFS FA course, so the judgmental things, it was decreased. So that
Mhm.
one incident happened when my one of my friends colleague was suffering from suicidal thought.
Mhm.
He asked me to talk with him for a while because many persons that person met everybody are judgmental and they asked to do something like what he is not willing. For example, people used to do meditation yoga to some persons,
Mhm.
but if they are not willing to do that activity, it won't help a lot. For personally, I experience if anybody asks me to do yoga, I am not convenient and comfortable with that yoga because
Mhm.
my mental health, my therapy is traveling, music, movies, like that. So
Mhm.
that incident, I come to know if I am talking with any strangers or something, it is very easy to get the things and I can understand because being a clean slate, I can
Yes.
easily get the information when you are comfortable with any family members or close ones. So
Yes.
that way, after a couple of conversation, he just shared his thoughts and everything. I just listened and I didn't suggest or something anything. After a couple of conversation, he really his thought process has changed.
Mhm.
So that was the learning which I learned. So whenever we are getting into the counseling or any conversations, we used to get judgmental. But when you
Mhm.
are doing something like strangers, I am more comfortable with the conversation with strangers. So that helps a lot and I get more informations. And
Mhm.
also another one thing, it's a part of we need to give the options as somebody told in the previous conversation also. It's not any one therapy or something can't work because
Mhm.
personally I also suffered a lot of personal problems. I used to do things and then only I come to know by doing this you can get relief from that. So
Mhm.
that was the learning I learned. So every people's have different options and different choices. So that needs to, as a mental health first aider, that needs to be observed and find out.
Mhm.
So then only
Yes.
you can
Mhm.
suggest or help the people in a effective manner. So that
Yes.
that was my learning by practitioners. Yeah.
Awesome. That's true. And that's what we do tell, like you all know in mental health first aid when we do training. So don't go and meet the person like you are a clinician because you are not. A first aider is not a clinician. Don't go because you are capable of recognizing the signs Don't go in mind having like, oh, Erinda may be experiencing depression or anxiety. No, that's not our duty. We are not there to diagnose and we don't have the capacity. But reach out of care. Say, hey, how are you doing? So I noticed such changes. So thought to just check and have a conversation with you. And of course, inform yourself because like you, many people may not be able to understand who is a mental health first aider. What is the role? Many people mistake and say, oh, you might be a counselor, you are doing counseling. No, not at all. So inform the other person about who you are, what is your role, what can this conversation sort of bring about. So it's very important that we do that and be open rather than suggesting things that might be, like Arun said, it doesn't work for me. It sounds definitely yoga, meditation might be good, but at this moment, right now, the way how I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, that doesn't suit. So how can we have a conversation which is much more nurturing and say like, okay, what works for you best right now, rather than do this, isn't it? So those are all learning that we do in mental health first aid, as you all rightly said. Just thank you for sharing all this. Absolutely very learning process. I wanted to ask my next question to all of you is definitely you remember in the training we talk about myths, we talk about those barriers that are not visible. Just pick up from whatever story you have had. What was one barrier that you really put down, and whether there was an individual or there was a group, a conversation where people are talking, and you are now sharp in the sense in understanding. Oh, that statement is very stigmatizing. So how have you responded back? What was that myth that you have sort of made the other person realize that that's just a misconception? And that misconception has held that person for so long. So any of you, you're welcome to share.
I think I can go. I have a very
Yeah.
relative. There were two situations, and now these are two women, very doing exceptionally well in their fields, where whatever they are doing, and in their lives as well, managing also extreme life situations at their own personal space. So I happened to engage in these conversations with them, and what I learned was that, for every question that I was asking them, both of them were, yeah, I'm feeling this. Yeah, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. And then they're saying that, how do you know all this? I said, in one of the case, to be very true, Erinda, there was this female who exactly had the situation which I probably had experience in my personal life. And then I was able to share a learning there. But, in both the cases, we were able to deal with that, no, these are not scenarios. These are probably your body indicating something and probably you seeking for help. We were able to bring in the clarification and also being able to cascade a very brief understanding that mental health isn't a weakness. It's not just about diagnosed conditions, which is like physical conditions. Everyone has mental health, like I, me, everyone has, it's just the state differs, basic situations. Just like physical health, today we have viral fever, maybe a sneezing or a cough otherwise, and anyone can struggle. I think this is the first basic misconception that we, endorse to whoever that we, in a group that we are working together or individuals that we are working with, and inculcating a very strong feeling that seeking help isn't failing. I think it's just choosing to heal. Because when we are clear about this basic line that, I want to heal myself, I recognize the people who are available to help me in whatever manner, right? We are able to overcome the misconceptions that are related to, about mental health. Otherwise, it's all of us are dealing with, different issues. And
Yes.
and to realize for myself as well that, I've had dealt with a situation, maybe my life is going normal, but why not just share my side of story? Just share my side of story, because when I share my side of story, I am creating the healing for myself.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And anyone else? Thank you, Anuja. Any would like to share any myth that you have sort of broken and is no longer there with the person or the group of people that you have been speaking?
Can I go ahead, Erinda?
Yeah, please, Priya.
I think the myth which I had like people talking about, especially having mental health at workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Because in general, people talk about mental health, but a lot of people have told me, why do you need mental health at workplace?
Mm.
Why do you need it? I think we all are dealing with our personal things, but I don't
Yeah.
think so. You need anything, or you don't need. I think my biggest challenge was for me to be an MHFA aider as a founder at a workplace.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
a lot of employees, a lot of team members don't really acknowledge having mental health issues or having a mental health breakdown. So that was one thing. And after taking the certificate, after taking the course, I think a lot of things changed for me. And like Anuja said, seeking help, which I mean by taking therapy, which is a biggest myth I feel people are not okay with. You
Mm-hmm.
need help. Maybe just to talk to a therapist or go to a professional help. That is what people are still not, okay with. That is a myth I feel it needs to be, changed. And I've seen a bit change when I have been an MHFAder. I tell my experience of going to a therapy and what has
Mm-hmm.
changed me, what
I
makes
see.
me feel good about it. That is
Mm.
when people say, okay, my founder, my team member is feeling good. It might help me also feel better.
Yes.
And
Yes.
not only from a workplace perspective, but from a personal perspective, talking to family members,
Mm-hmm.
making it open. Because I think from a background where we come in India, it becomes very difficult for us to talk about mental health anywhere. It's still
Mm-hmm.
very stigmatized. It takes a lot of time to break that conversation. So
Mm-hmm.
I faced a very big challenge when I told everyone that I'm becoming an MHFA aider. People first question ki why, what is it, why do you need it? Then
Yeah.
that is when I made them understand ki, why, what is a first aid like. And I remember we had this thing ki, how you need a first aid during a physical problem, physical
Yeah.
health. It's the same thing for mental health.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm trying to change, and I think I've reached that level where I'm trying to a bit
Awesome.
change it. Yeah.
That's great. So it reminded me when I started mental health first aid in India, and I was meeting few friends around, and one of them saw a photo of our very first training that we did in 2018 in November, and she recognized an individual there. She recognized, and so, oh, she was there in your training. I said, yeah, she was there. What happened to her? Is she unwell? This was the question in 2018. I said, no. And so we sat and I explained that, I mean, people who take the training, it's not about being ill. It's for everyone, for taking care of ourselves and the other. But yes, it's been a great journey. Just even one individual, it's like a great win when we say like, okay, that's the concept. Okay, then we sit and explain that. It's absolutely a great win. At least I feel so gained within me. So feel like good. Somebody has a different perspective right now. So Siddhika, any addition to this?
Yes, I think one myth that I have faced is correlating mental health with lack of maturity.
Oh,
Lot
wow.
of people, quote it that way that, so let's say I had a conversation and I probably proposed that, this person should have a mental health break or a day break off, or, just take some time off to understand or whatever. But the response sometimes from those who really don't really understand anything out of this is that maybe that person is not just matured enough to manage their emotions,
Mm,
which is the worst of I've ever heard. No
mm,
matter what age you are, what
mm,
stage of your life you are,
mm,
whatever maturity you carry, is not anywhere related to the emotions that you deal with, is
mm,
my personal understanding. And correct me if I'm wrong, please, because putting it that way was a shocker for me when somebody said that, and I'm like, no, it's not about maturity. The person
mm,
could be the best at whatever abilities they are, whatever
mm,
roles they play, whatever jobs they do. This is completely different. This is
mm,
about their mental health, and it is not to be related to anything.
mm,
So And again, the next myth is, is this how, taking some pills and, you're fine after that? No, this is not as it works. So,
Mm.
there is still a lot of barrier in the society where people don't really understand how healing helps.
Yeah.
One other challenge that I would also want to share that I faced personally is
Mhm.
when the closest ones of you, meet your
Mm.
friends, colleagues, who are going through something really a difficult time of their lives, and when you try to help them, and if they are, so this has been my scenario, that they were completely reluctant to seek any kind
There.
of help.
Yeah.
And that has been the biggest challenge for me, irrespective of how much ever I would want them to.
Mm.
It kind of backfired in, tampering my relation with them, which
I
I didn't
see.
want. But
Mm.
I was just trying to do something for them, just to speak to them, maybe just to have a conversation. And they felt that, I'm just trying to do some kind of a, therapy acting or something, which I could not, how much ever I could explain them, I could not really get through, because there was a biggest mental taboo that they carried about
Mm.
mental health first aiding.
Yes,
So,
sometime it becomes difficult with a closed one, uh,
yes.
because multiple layer of relationship and thought process and all these barriers that are completely mental barriers are very invisible,
Yeah.
shaped in such way. It's like it's the best safe to be far rather than shared and informed. But of course, as first aiders, we are welcoming anytime they come back. But at the same time, leaving with them information that here are the resources. Reach out wherever you feel comfortable. Giving that space to that. But I remember, and this comes across with what Arun was saying earlier, that a stranger is like you haven't just a plain slate, it's just empty. You have
Yeah.
no judgment, you have no preconception, you're just listening and you're just trying to help. And that's where it goes in corporate, when corporate says, like some corporates come and say, like, okay, if I train all my managers and my leaders, that's okay, that's good. But there is this hesitation in layers and in the hierarchy. So how about peer to peer? And that works too. Sometimes
Yeah.
people feel comfortable to talk to someone who does not know much
Mm.
about them. So that's why we say that mental health first aid is something everyone should have. It's not about just strategic points, only HR or managers, but anyone can be a first aiders to help themselves and others about around it. But yeah, I do understand helping comes with a cost, isn't it,
Mm.
Siddhika? That
Most of the
emotional
times.
cost, certain things might not have been understood right.
Yeah.
That's about it. But thanks for sharing. I don't
Yeah.
something a myth that you have broken.
Yeah, yeah. The one myth I observed that many people are thinking if anybody is suffering from mental health, they are the sign of weakness.
Mm,
So people used to isolate them. Many people, their perception is totally different when you tell about somebody is suffering from mental health issue, anxiety or depression. So they used
mm,
to see the person in a different way. So, for example, the way of talking will be different. So it is
mm,
like a sign of weakness, and also they get isolated. They are thinking this is not common. This is a rare thing like
mm,
that. So that I have observed during my conversations and during my experience. And also many people doesn't know about what is mental health, because 1 year before I went for a road drive with the theme of mental health awareness. I
mm,
met a lot of people, gone with talked with a lot of people. Many people doesn't know what is mental health. Okay, so
mm,
mental health means directly they need to go to some doctor and get medicines,
mm,
and then get cured for a time being.
mm,
So that way, that basic awareness is not that much in I'm talking about in India. So mental health
mm,
means it's like they need to they need to get a treatment from a doctor, psychiatrist, or for
yeah.
example,
Mm,
because many things are there before, even before therapy or psychiatrist. Many things, even if you talk with a friend, even if you have a good movie or music, your the things will calm down. So that way, people are very much less aware about the mental health and its coping methodology.
So not only that, as mental health first aiders, you are approaching and trying to support, but as well bringing a level of awareness and bringing a change. That is the long-lasting change. A person now realizing that it's okay to seek help. Maybe this time you have met the person, you recognize and realize the early signs and symptoms. Maybe later in another scenario, you may not be there, but the person is already empowered with that knowledge that it's okay to seek help. It can happen now. I may feel in another time not well, but that empowerment, it doesn't have a price, honestly. So that's powerful. And another thing that I consider very important in the training, and you would remember when I mentioned it, that we do it at the beginning of the training, because as an individual coming forward to support someone, you really need strong foundation. Okay, as individual, to understand your own mental health first, to understand your own emotion, to understand what are the rights in our country, who are the professionals, but as well to start changing your own misconception, because we all come from this community. We can't say that, oh, we are perfect, not at all. So, and when we do the training, we talk a lot about stigma. It's not about the definition of it, but it's about elements that have somehow, in a way, knowingly or unknowingly, we all have contributed to the situation that is right now, a high level of stigma. How have we contributed? Just starting from the simple thing, language. Okay, the words that we use, the words that we can, when we are trying to convey our thoughts and emotions or our opinion around mental health or commenting on someone else, that language is very powerful on people that may be experience a mental health problem. So through that language, they realize, are you open to it? Are you judgmental? Or are you the right person to reach out or not? So through the language that we are using, and we have been using all the way, what have we been contributing is that using language that is stigmatizing, negative, judgmental, labeling, tagging, we have done nothing but isolating people that have been witnessing our language and thought that, oh, okay, Erinda is not the right person, because Erinda thinks, I'm just taking as an example, thinks that it's not okay. I mean, you just need to go for a walk or take a break, and then there's nothing like a low mood or something like that. So when you have someone speaking in this language, definitely you shrink. You feel like, okay, it's my fault, it's my problem, I shouldn't talk about it. Nobody will understand me. And therefore, we have isolated people. But changing that language, what it happens? We open the door, we create a bridge. So I just wanted from you, what is that word or language that you have worked in to change, to convey it otherwise different, or maybe someone used those terms and you have corrected it?
Can I go ahead, Erinda?
Yeah, please, Priya.
I think a lot of people, when they are not feeling okay or they are not having a good time since a week, they say, I'm feeling very depressed.
Mm.
I think that is when I have tried a lot of times to my team members. It's a very big word. Uh,
Mm.
I think we can choose words carefully. Like you
Mm.
can't say, ki, okay, I see this person is being low since a few days. I think he might be depressed.
Mm.
It makes a lot of change when people start using these words. I think he must not be doing okay. That
Mm.
can be a better word, but being depressed, these words can trigger the person, feeling ki, okay, I'm going through a lot of bigger things. I'm not doing
Mm.
okay mentally. I know I might not be able to be okay. Uh, these kind of words, and also from my own personal experience, uh, being very careful when I talk to the team on words like you being anxious. I think
Mm.
that is you. I think we should avoid using these words. that will make that person feel like I'm not into a therapist, into a therapy
Okay.
with a therapist. I'm just having a normal conversation. I think
Yeah.
normalizing words are much easier than using very big words which are already a taboo outside. So I think that is what I've realized.
Yeah, thank you. And those are diagnosed, I mean, the name of a
Yes,
diagnosis. So
yes,
none of us have the capacity. Even
true,
as mental
true.
health say, we don't have the capacity to name it. And of course, fencing mental health or mental illness names, fencing as in sense like making it like it's okay, it's cool to have such names and use such name. It's not okay. It doesn't support or make feel good a person who is really experiencing and going through a depression or anxiety and so on. So minimizing it's not right. So yeah, thank you, Priya, for bringing that. Any other would like to add?
Yeah, the very small, I think what Priya was very right that, whenever somebody is experiencing some mental health issue, the words make really a big difference. And I think as a sole goal for us is to be supportive and non-judgmental and yet empathetic. I think the conversation initiation must be a little on a permission kind of a ground that, would you like to talk about what's going
Yes.
on? Because that
Mhm.
allows us that space to actually navigate
Yes.
to actually the struggle that they're having. And then probably, moving to statements like I'm here for you, or it's okay to feel this way, and further adding up to, many such statements, and rather just staying as neutral as possible to the other side and not labeling with the terms. And as well, so I remember one of these one of the person kept emphasizing on the a term related to very severe mental health issue. And I said that, why are we using this term? She says, I'm clinically diagnosed. I said, that's okay, but that's for the doctor to pronounce. For us,
Mhm.
it's actually to recognize what we are feeling, and let's talk about that. And I think
Mhm.
it just took me 2 to 3 sittings with her to actually make her understand that it's okay what you're feeling. Fine, maybe you're clinically recognized, but since we have to start a second journey for you, let's stop calling out whatever you yourself are feeling. Just see,
Mhm.
I'm feeling low, I'm sad, and rather
Yeah.
not also call yourself that I'm feeling depressed, because
Mhm.
the expression can be very different and the meaning of the word can be very different.
Yeah.
uh, so
Good.
I think
Yeah.
it goes also both ways.
Yes, yes, that's good. So it reminds me when I'm in training and people raise their hand and say like, I'm an OCD or something. I'm like, okay, can you tell me if somebody diagnosed you or not? And if it's not, then how do you come up to this point? And of course, when somebody is diagnosed, sometimes we carry that. It's very important event when somebody is diagnosed with an illness, whether it's this physical illness or is a mental illness, and knowing how to deal with that, going rather than clubbing it only in the name, like I'm diagnosed with depression, I'm depressed, this is depressing, going and breaking it down to thoughts and emotions that make you feel that way, okay, that has led to being diagnosed, just rather than packing everything under the same name. So it allows the person as well get in touch with their thoughts and emotion and experience, isn't it? Yeah, thanks for bringing it, Anuja. Any would like to bring any other thing in comes to Siddhika
Yeah.
in terms of language
Yeah.
that we use and
Um,
permission that it gives us to move forward.
Yeah, I think similar lines of what Anuja and Priya said. Definitely, what kind of words we use, what kind of words they use, the people we talk to. I think both matters a lot.
Mhm.
And beyond, the first level of conversation or the second level of conversation, my biggest strength has been, just try to ensure that I check up on them however
Mhm.
I can, because
Mhm.
a lot of times you speak to a lot of people, right? You get to know what's happening with them. They will probably share, they will probably not. Some
Mhm.
are just observations that remain with you,
Mhm.
as a checkpoint that, oh, she doesn't seem right, or he's different today, whatever. But ultimately checking in first, yes, but after all of that, maybe a week after, just go back and check again is something has
Mhm.
been my biggest takeaway. Because when I go and check on them again, hey, I see you better. How have you been doing? What did you do? All those sorts of conversation has helped me and them as well, just
Yes.
to realize that they did something different in last 1 week, which
Mm,
has brought them out of whatever they were going through. So
yeah.
sometimes some people who don't want to seek any kind of help, but they try to do it something naturally. Somebody would just go out for
Okay.
shopping, somebody would just
Yeah.
go out to play some game or whatever. But
Mm,
it really makes them realize that, hey, that was a deal breaker for, my whatever thoughts that I was going through.
mm.
So those words would be something that I would keep on using. And I think that would be something I would ask everyone to just try to follow up with them, probably let's say a week after, 2 weeks after. You look better, what have you done? Or
What
what
works
has
for
been
you? Yeah.
happening, how are you doing? Yeah, so
That,
those
that's
also are
that's
the
it.
words that should be considered.
That's right to the theme that we are talking, that every small conversation matter. And
Yes,
not necessarily every case that we meet would need a clinical review. The early we meet, the likely that with some lifestyle changes, just one time or two time counseling, or just somebody listen. Somebody
yes.
just that allowing to talk, it allows the person to see things in a different perspective. So that's the greatest thing that the other person win, and definitely we win in that. Arun, you wanted to add?
Thing I just want to add, when you start any conversations, you know that that person is suffering from something like that. You just go and compliment. That is a better way to whatever you are looking good or something like that, and then you can ask a open-ended question. How was your weekend? What about the recent activity you did? Likewise, we can start that make them comfortable. And
Mm,
also, apart from that, you can call them for if you are approachable and if you are a well-known person, you can call for a coffee or something like that. Come on, let's go for a coffee or something like that. We can start with an informal thing so that they can be so comfortable and convenient when they start sharing the things. That
yeah.
way, it is good if you compliment, and then the better way will be the compliment. So everybody likes compliment, even if they are in a sad mood or down. So if you compliment something like that, a small thing, that mood can change.
It sparks a smile. So great.
Yeah.
So thank you. So the last thing that I'd like, we have come to the end of it, and I mean, it just flew away the entire time, just listening to all your inputs, and thank you for it. One word that you'd feel like, if we'd say MHFA and one word that sort of equal it for you, what would that be? In a way, that would be a sort of people who are listening to us, people who are mental health first aiders, of course, they are on the same community and they can resonate with you, definitely. People who are not mental health first aid, people who are listening, not necessarily they have to be from corporates, people who may be taking care of someone at home or they themselves might be struggling. What is some one word that you sort of equalize to mental health first aid? Like mental health first aid is.
If I can say, um, it's not a word, but I feel that if you put yourself in someone's shoes, that's first level of empathy that you receive, you understand, and I think automatically leads to the ability to listen and care.
Yeah.
So it's just one step after the other, but I think sorry about that. But
No,
yes, I think for me it is putting yourself in someone's shoes when you're talking to someone.
yeah, making that effort, because
Yes,
that's what we see across, that confidence to start that conversation, putting yourself,
yes,
trying to put yourself in someone's shoes is
yeah.
the first thing. Thank you, Siddhika. Anuja?
I think being compassionate, it would be another word in action, that listening without interrupting or judging. Uh, I think would be the word I would go for.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Priya?
I think something similar to what Anuja said. I think being non-judgmental and giving a lot of empathy. Also, a lot of people sympathize a lot with people who are going through mental health. So I think sympathy is not going to work. For me, I think it's being very empathetic and keeping it normal. Normalizing is very important. So I think it's important to normalize and be empathetic.
Thank you. And Arun, from you?
Yeah, people have already told. I just start the word with any compliment, and then I just say hi.
Be positive.
Thankful. Yeah, any
Yeah.
compliment that will be a great start.
Yeah, I'll pick up from your word that you said, being thankful, validating and thanking people for opening up, taking this conversation, accepting you as someone that you are genuinely trying to help is a big thing, because it's really, people did not have such conversation before. And it's new. And we all know that it's difficult for people to even reach to a counselor or therapist. So there is a huge gap in between the person thinking, I need help, I don't need help, can I do this myself? Oh, people will not understand. Oh, if I go to a therapist, I'll be considered sick. So all that gap that is filled with a lot of barriers is what a mental health first aider with a simple casual conversation can resolve. But definitely a first aider must take care for their own self, because this process, as much as it can be helpful, it can be enriching, it can be a successful one, resolving problem, that much, if not done well, can sort of hurt or harm the other person. So the conversation matter, and we need to do it in the right, appropriate way. To do it that way, we need to really be well prepared for it. So I hope and I can see that I have a lot of other questions to say, like, for example, how often do you read the manual and so on. But let's leave them for another conversation that we can get together as mental health first aiders and talk more, of course, around it. But I'd like to thank you so much for being with me, for sharing your experience, for being mental health first aider, for going out there. Not only though your corporate might have supported you, but pushing that barrier, going in community, supporting others, supporting yourself, and all those. So again, happy Mental Health First Aiders Day to us in India, but as well to all mental health first aiders across the world. There are more than 8 million of them. Imagine what a large community we are. And of course, little by little, conversation by conversation, bringing about change. So thank you very much. I wish you a great week ahead. Thank you for coming in. I wish everybody who was with me here, thank you for listening. And take care of yourself. And of course, whenever you are ready, come in to take mental health first aid, if not yet already been one. So thank you again, and take care.